Hello class, this is the second part of class number 1. I just gave you the introduction of the Burdenko method. And the second part of this class was talking about pelvis stability. In our mind, pelvis stability is the most important thing for sport and most important thing for preventing injuries. So, I'm sure you've learned in your classes lately, right? Pelvis is right here. It's supposed to be in alignment. We see all different types of positions, and there are champions where their pelvis is out of alignment. However, if you do not control your pelvis, then you won't be a champion. Either you won't have success because of skill, or your body will just fall apart. So we'll talk first on the top of the papers I've given you. You want to be aware of it, so people are just not aware maybe that it is straight. You have to have flexibility, hamstrings, hip flexors, that type of thing, and lower ab strength, and that's the biggest thing. Now, nowadays people are doing a lot of good things for this type of strength. Over the years, 20 years we've done this class, we've seen athletes improve tremendously in some of the exercises we give them. And stuff like Pilates and things like that really do focus on alignment, postural stability, all of that. One thing I did not see a lot of is pelvic stability within movement. So right now at the beginning we're going to go, as we said, simple to complicated with the Burdenko method, and we will do some of these exercises the way you've seen them before. Nice, easy, in non-moving positions, but we really want to get to where we move and control the pelvis at the same time. So, as we said, straight, right? You can almost tighten the glutes, tuck in the belly a little, make a six-pack, everything is in alignment. We don't want to see that anterior tilt, okay? Shoulders over the hips, that's going to be a big one. Okay, so you're reading from number 1. Now, you can get this a few ways. You can get this by, if you mind following, you can stand against the wall. That's one of the exercises on here. And you feel that your back, lower back is nice and flat. You're not losing that curve of the spine. You're just kind of making sure the top of the sacrum is against the wall. That gives me awareness. Now I know to stand like this as compared to that. You can do the same thing on the ground, where we have back is flat. So this gives the athlete, the student, the awareness that they need. Okay? Then from there, on some of these exercises, we've shown wall squats. So you're staying here, everything's in alignment, you go down. First you can go to 90, eventually you go a little further, and you come up, and we said you build to one leg. Here's one where I don't have, just due to a few past injuries, you're here, my arm should be flat on the wall, I come up and down. You can do this way or this way. This works on the alignment. Now, a little more. The exercise number 4 on here is a side lying with a leg raise. Unbelievably important exercise. So, you're on your side. Hand should be under the neck, not under the head. This hand is planted here. Make sure everything nice and straight. I have that neutral pelvis. First part is just raising the leg. What you will see a lot of the time is when you raise, people all of a sudden, they lose the pelvis. It breaks that way. No, you want to make sure they're going up and down nice and straight. Okay, and then it says in the progressions, and here are the progressions. The next one is up, flex, extend, down. So when you flex, again, pelvis is straight, knee stays in the same alignment. We're looking to prevent that stay there. And the third one, and there's no way I'm going to keep the pelvis straight on this one, is called a hip flip. It's up, bend, now I rotate and I kick. No chance. As you can see, as soon as I rotate, I lose the pelvis and kick. So that's more of an advancement. I actually worked with a ballerina to put her foot on the ground over her head and kept the pelvis in alignment. That would have been in another life. Okay, so as we move on, One exercise that everyone does nowadays is the plank, and it is excellent for to at least put in the awareness and the muscles that you need to keep the pelvis in alignment. So we have a few different ways of doing the plank here. We had just the regular one. So everything has to be nice and straight, but hands, elbows under the shoulders, palms flat, the weight's on the forearm. And you hold that for any amount of time you like. And then what we've added for you is a few different progressions. So you can have one leg over the other leg. You can have a leg off the ground. You can have it adducted. You can have heel to glute. You can have knee to elbow. You can have knee to elbow and extend. And you can have the plank push-up. So those are all the progressions that you can move to. Okay. Then we had the supine plank. And for those who have shoulder problems, you can do this way. If not, same as we were before. Okay? So I'm going to show you the progressions from this position. So everything's nice and straight. Now we'll do the same thing we did before. Over, out to the side, off the ground, knee to chest extend, knee to elbow and extend. All of that. Okay? Keeping from simple to complicated, we're going to go to a sideline plank. And again, you can go from here, or you can go from here. Just make sure the weight is distributed along the forearm. Now this one here takes a few things. It takes up and it takes forward to hold that position. Now the progression from here, almost the same as we did on the side lying. So you can raise and flex. You can do the hip flip, or you can build to inside leg up and with extension. Either way, up and forward. Okay? Now, as we said, a lot of this is out there, but you're trying to control the pelvis while you move. So we can get into all those plank positions while we roll. And if possible, you're trying to keep that alignment and keep the hips up the whole time. So I would go from the prone to the side, to the back, to the other side, to prone, and then come back. Okay? Thank you. That was number 9 on your sheet. Number 10 on the sheet is body rolls. So maybe a little different, maybe a little easier than what we just did, but at the same time, good control and balance. So you're kind of in that Superman position, and from here, you're rolling, and at first, sides, and as it said on the sheet, you're moving from the pelvis. You don't want to see upper body first, then lower body follow, or you don't want to see pushing off the hands. You want to see moving from here. So we're moving side to side, and then we can also move, so 180s, where we're moving from the, again, from the hips, and we can do 360s. Again, the key, keeping that alignment. Okay. We're on page 4. Just a regular push-up should have that alignment. So if I'm here, I would like my head also to hold in alignment, cervical, and right there, that's when I do the push-up. And everything stays straight. But here we're adding a little touch to that. So you're holding that position, and from here, you raise one hand, the other hand, one leg, the other leg. Opposites, opposites. Same, same. And if you're really good, you add a push-up to each one of those positions. But there again, a little more static, but also a little more difficult from a muscular standpoint. So it adds that. Next one, I call a vault. I'm not sure what it is called nowadays, but many people are using this exercise. It's good for the glutes, as they say. So you're here and just up and down, right? So you're looking for that alignment. So we add a little bit to that. You can do the up and down, or you can keep in that position. And from here, you extend, keeping the same line and keeping that up. One, the other. You can also keep that up, knee to chest, extend. And if you're getting to the point, as we talked about the different qualities, if we're having a strength speed day, something like that, especially speed, you can be in this position, kick both legs out, bring them in as fast as you can. I lost the pelvis a little, but you get the idea. All right? Thank you. Now we're going to get to moving a little bit and standing. So, amazingly so, how difficult it is, you'll see your athletes or your students just to stand in alignment with the leg at what we call 90-90. They have so much difficulty there. Once you get that leg up to parallel, it starts to activate the lower abs, is what we talked about to help with the pelvis ability. So, the first one is just stand, and you are running with one leg. So what you see is when someone makes a move, we're going to show you a few different kicking moves, but when they make a move, you want to see that the pelvis doesn't leave anteriorly. You'll see that the leg doesn't bend, the body, they're controlling everything, so nothing moves other than that. Okay? Very, very important. And you can progress from there by walking into it, forward and backwards. Then we can add, so you did the forward kick. Then you can add a lateral kick. There it is. Pelvis stays aligned and it comes straight back up to that position. Boom. Very important. Baseball player touching first base and changing direction. Football player, lacrosse, anything where you're running, when you plant field hockey and you change. If this goes here, nothing's aligned. One bone's going one way, one's going the other. You'll lose your power. So we want to see straight out, straight back. You could see people bend. You could also see people twist. So when they kick to the side, they're twisting first. For a skier, if they came in and every time their leg went to the side, they twisted, it's maybe a move that they didn't want to do at that time, so their body is fighting itself. Poor for technique. Okay. So, third one in this sequence, front, side, now back. That's a lot tougher. Arabesque in ballet. A lot tougher to keep straight. It wants to go. So I'm trying to hold out as much as I can. Now, so that's good balance. Right? The key to balance is your pelvis stability. And now we can have a balanced coordination day. So maybe when you kick front, your hands go overhead. When you kick side, your hands go to the side. And when you kick back, your hands go front. You can do that individually, or you can put it all together. So 1, 2, 3. Again, we're changing speeds. You can also do it where you walk into it. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I will do the other leg, or I can walk backwards, same thing. 1, 2, 3. Within this, and I don't have this on the sheet, you can add eyes opened, eyes closed. You can add a no-no movement or a yes-yes movement or head tilts. Makes the exercise unbelievably more difficult. Adds to the balance, works the vestibular system, and works the vision. Okay? Let's see. Okay. All right. Big step sequence. So in the big, this one, probably the most important exercise you will learn in this class for movement. So you're in this position, okay? So pelvis is tucked under, shoulders over the hip. Weight is on the front foot. And as we move, you will notice the weight is always on the front foot. So I would step forward, I catch myself, my weight is there. I step back, my weight is there. So what you're looking for is when someone moves forward, they don't move that way. It's just one piece. They catch themselves, they're solid. They're not folding after the catch. When they move backwards, this move's eliminated. It's one piece, they're right there. So how this applies. Basketball player comes dribbling in, stops. If the person is far enough away, because it doesn't matter if the person's taller, faster, if you stop and you're in control, you can go right up and shoot. If you stop and you're not in control, that person closes the gap and takes away your advantage. If I stopped here too and someone is fairly close, I can take a step back. I can either go up or then drive. If I have control, I am using my speed to the maximum. Okay? Speaking of which, just to take a step back. Speed, stride length times stride frequency. Bingo. There's it, pelvis straight, there's my stride length. I tilt the pelvis anteriorly, all of a sudden my stride length is shorter. You're slower. You're running a marathon, after 26 miles, 385 yards, all those stride lengths come back to hurt you. Very, very important to control that, as we've been saying. Okay. Next, mini lunge. Oh, no, sorry. Big step sequence, we'll continue that a little bit. So we've moved forward and backwards. We can also move backwards and forwards. And you can do it with coordination where you're going forward, backwards, side. Because obviously you have to control the pelvis when you move sideways. So this would be forward, I'm in control. Backwards, weight is here. My left foot has been stationary. Now I go to the right side. Now my right foot becomes stationary. Forward, backwards, side, forward, backwards, side. So you're looking that the athlete's not moving this way, that when they go, they're under control. And the arm movement comes into play too, opposite hand, opposite leg, reciprocal, which is important for brain function. So we have that, and then you can actually do that running into it if you want. Or run, so I can run into it and go bang, 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 and I can run backwards into it, where I get that position. Okay? So that makes it much more difficult, much more coordination, much more balance. Let's see. Okay, one of the last ones we have on here is a mini lunge. So what I mean, so most people lunge, you see them, or they do step-ups. You can see when they do step-ups, everything bends, but when they lunge, they are worried about a lunge, but they go down, there's no control here. We try to add to this. So how you can set this up. Heel is on a line. My knee would be on the same line, so it's in line with that heel. Pelvis is straight, and it's 1 inch off the ground. So I challenge you now just to hold that for about 15 seconds. You'll feel the burn and see how difficult that is. So the first one then is again with movement, going up and down, keeping the pelvis in alignment. So just like that. Okay? And then you would do up opposite the other leg. And everything in its alignment right there. How do we make that more difficult? So the first one, foot was flat, knees were over the toes. Now, we can do it where the foot is flat and the knee is to the inside. Obviously, if you have bad knees, anything hurts, you don't do. But if not, this will strengthen knees tremendously. One of the best exercises for knees. So I'm going down, I'm keeping the alignment, but the knee is to the inside. Then I would do knee to the outside. Okay, same thing. Then I can do completely on the outside of the foot. Good for the knees, good for challenging the balance. Then I would pronate my foot completely on the inside edge of my foot, keeping the pelvis straight. Those 5 movements can be done, so straight, knee inside, knee outside, outside of foot, inside of foot, while your back foot is turned over. So there's the straight, inside, outside, outside of the foot, and inside of the foot. Adds a different balance and a different strength. Okay? Now, I might have had this earlier in the papers, but this is difficult for an old guy that was trained differently. Squatting is big. In my mind, squatting is also one of the exercises that ends up hurting sport performance the most. Not because we don't need the strong legs. We need the strong legs. And as you'll see from our next classes, what we can do to strengthen the legs. But it's how people do the squat. So people are squatting, and the first thing they seem to be taught, not always, not by the best trainers, but they tilt it anteriorly. So when you see someone squat, there's no rhythm between the top of their femur and the bottom of their femur. So what happens is it stops, the body takes over, this is up in the air, and now they go to here. They can't get lower. I'll keep my pelvis straight, but I won't necessarily have the shoulders over the hips for the longest time. We are trying, as we go down, keep shoulders over the hips as long as we possibly can, and have a rhythm between here and here. So what happens is, it is smooth, it's very, very smooth, and everything does stay in alignment. So if you do your squatting in the weight room, that is really important, that you brace here and keep everything in alignment. Big Sistema type squat. Okay. The last things we have, and we're going to show more on one of the strength days, is hanging off chin-up bars and doing leg lifts while you keep the pelvis straight. So you start with the children, they can brace their arms here, they stay in alignment, it goes up and down. You're looking for shoulders staying over the hips when you do this as compared to that type of move, and then eventually they move to straight legs, up and down. All right, thank you.